Hi, it's me again, that guy with the three-piece suit. Well, this is my second video on politics, I guess. So what I'm going to talk about now is communism. Now, communism, it's been heavily debated, kind of what communism and socialism are, the differences, stuff like that. So I want to kind of make it clear to you. Socialism is kind of the ideal that Karl Marx came up with, the ideal of kind of money divided amongst the people, everybody's equal, all that sort of stuff. Look it up if you want to learn more. Communism, as I've learned, is basically the same thing, but militarized. Now there's been a lot of debate over this and stuff. It's really quite pointless because most of the people that bring this up are just teenagers that have no idea what they're talking about. I may be a teenager, but I still at least have listened to the logical people. These people have not. Anyways, so let's continue on. Yeah, like I said, communism is a militarized version of socialism. That basically is kind of the only logical way that you can make socialism work is by forcing people to follow it. Or in practice at least. In theory, not so much, as people will probably see. Now then, but I want to continue on talking about some of it. We have a bunch of problems with it. Me, Union Jack, our filmer, some other people. We have problems because, well, there's a few problems, but a little bit because of the economics. We believe that everybody should have the right to make as much money as they want legally and spend it however they want legally. But communism doesn't allow that. It allows you to do pretty much whatever you want, but you can't spend money. It's kind of contradictory. Now, there was that problem, but also, communism doesn't make a lot of economic sense. And the thing is that unless communism went global, which it has not, and which it will not, it just can't work economically. Capitalism has always been, and will always be, the basic hierarchy in terms of economics. Communism is basically anti-economics. You have to have money, you have to have currency to make everything work. Otherwise you're giving things away. And when you give things away, what's the point of working? Which brings up one problem with communism. You work for the country, you do all these things, what do you get in return? You don't get recognition, you don't get money, you don't get anything, except a pat on the back and they say, good job, you just contributed to some other people that probably aren't doing, they're probably doing nothing compared to you. Like, for instance, farmers, or not farmers, farmhands, let's say. People that'll like pick up poo and throw it or something like that. Do they really deserve to get the same, are they equal to, let's say, the doctor? The doctor who saves people's lives? Is the poo flinger equal to the doctor? No. But communism says they are. Doesn't make any logical sense. Another problem with communism is that it relies on Karl Marx's view on human psychology, and his view was massively flawed. He believes that all human beings will work together, in fact, because humans are naturally good. They naturally want to succeed together. That's a lie. I know this because I experience it every day. It's not natural. People want to be better than everybody else. There's always going to be somebody that wants to be higher up than somebody else, one way or another, whether they're a better runner, they're a stronger lifter or something like that, smarter, richer, that's another one. People always want to be better than people. And there will always be people that don't agree with something. So therefore, that said, communism can't work because not everybody is going to get together and agree. And because of that, it can't work. The society of communism, it needs to have everybody cooperate, and it can't have that. Now then, kind of on to some other things to do with communism. People have, they can say, oh yeah, it'll work, and blah, 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 all that stuff all the time. But it doesn't change what the communists have done. What I'm referring to, ladies and gentlemen, is the massive amount of human rights abuse they've committed. When I say this, I am referring to the gulags in USSR, in North Korea, probably in China as well. It's everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. People disappear every day in Cuba for speaking out against Fidel Castro. You may not believe this, but it's true. There have been so many problems with this. It's insane. My grandfather actually went to China one time, Shanghai I think it was, to on a business trip. He's a bit of a businessman. What he saw is there were certain shops, walk shops and stuff like that, and they were supposed to be selling stuff, but they didn't sell anything. They weren't selling to him. They basically they didn't care. They were playing a little game of mahjong or whatever, because there was no reason for them to work. Okay, so as you may have noticed, the video skipped a bit. We had a little malfunction. Anyways, so to continue on, yeah, there's no incentive to work in a communist country. So that was what my grandfather saw. Now back to the thing at hand. Gulags and stuff. Have you people been in North Korea? I doubt it, and I doubt you'd want to go. The people there are abused so heavily. It's disgusting. People, not even just North Koreans, but foreign people from North Korea get locked up there. That happened with a United States journalist. And Bill Clinton, one of the ex-US presidents, if you don't know, had to go in there and rescue her by doing a bit of diplomacy. So people are trying to tell me communism is great, and then that happens? What? And then the story gets worse. I was doing a bit of research myself. Apparently, the overall amount of people dead because of communism, because of Stalin, because of Lenin, and because of many other people, goes up to about 114 million people. That's 114 million people that are dead, that will never come back to life. Now, people will say, well, how do you know this? And what about Lenin? He wasn't a bad person, he was a good person. Well, this book tells me differently. Now, it's called Stalin's Instruments of Terror. I've told a number of people about this book, and of course, they're all like, oh, that's not fair, this book is biased. Well, if it's biased, why does it talk about the czars of Russia? The very people that the Soviets fought against. As the first chapter is called, the one about the czars, Blueprint for Terror. Kind of how it all started off. So, is this book biased? No. And anybody that says that is desperate to be believed in. So I'm going to read you a little excerpt here, just about Lenin. Now, this is when somebody had attempted an assassination attempt on him, and somebody else, I believe. So allow me to read you this. This part's called The Orgy of Killing. There followed an orgy of killing under the direction of Dzhemensky's Cheka, I have no idea how to pronounce that name, which continued for around 3 years. The Petrograd Cheka was now under the direction of Uritsky's successor, Gleb Ivanov Baki, a sexual pervert and sadist, notorious for arranging group sex sessions at his dacha, country villa, and forcing terrified female members of his staff to attend. Within a few weeks of the shooting of Lenin, he was reporting to Moscow with characteristic pride that 800 alleged revolutionaries had faced the firing squads, and another 6,229 had been imprisoned. Boki, with but one of a number of sexual deviants and certified psychopaths who found their way into senior positions in the Cheka, their recruitment was openly encouraged by Dzhemensky, who made sure they knew that they were open to blackmail or indeed elimination if they stepped out of line. So I'm going to let you, I have to cut this short pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen. So as you can see, that's the chapter. You can pause it and watch it. I'm going to have to cut this short now. There is going to be a part 2 though. So go there and I will finish up